Hey, welcome to the weekly wrap only on KENS 5 Plus. I'm your host, Audrey Castoreno. We're going to get you up to date on some of the biggest story of the week with our countdown. At number 5, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton investigating fast fashion giant Shein over possible violations of state law. The probe focuses on reports of forced labor, toxic materials in products, and misleading claims about safety and ethical sourcing. Paxton said Texans deserve to know the companies they buy from are safe and transparent. He also said he won't allow, quote, cheap, dangerous foreign goods to jeopardize public health. The investigation will also look into Shein's data collection practices, which could affect millions of American consumers. At number 4, we now know when Camp Mystic plans to reopen. A new announcement this week says the camp will welcome attendees May 30th of 2026. The news follows a series of lawsuits related to the deaths of 27 campers and counselors during the July 4th floods. In an email to camp families, officials say that their Cypress Creek location, which was not damaged in the flood, will reopen on that date of May 30th. Camp officials say they installed new flood monitors and generators and will give every camper cabin a two-way radio. Families of victims called the decision to reopen unthinkable. And at number 3, a group of Texas families have filed a new lawsuit in San Antonio aiming to block school districts from displaying the Ten Commandments in classrooms. The federal lawsuit names several school districts, including Schertz-Cibolo and Medina Valley. Senate Bill 10 requires public schools to display the Ten Commandments in classrooms. The American Civil Liberties Union is representing the families, saying the law violates First Amendment rights of separation of church and state and free exercise of religion. But some religious groups argue the Ten Commandments are foundational to the U.S. judicial and educational system. And the time of year for friends and family is in full swing, as are holiday parties and gatherings. But as KENS 5's Jeremy Baker reports, those celebrations inside your home can also offer up more chances for holiday trouble and trauma.
When it comes to holiday injuries inside the home, flames are a big source of them, so make sure your Christmas tree is properly watered and turn off the lights when you're sleeping or you're not at home, even if your tree is artificial.
So as we're getting ready for our holiday tree decorations, we want to make sure that we don't put any live fire items, candles, onto the tree.
If you're using a power strip, make sure it's in working order and make sure you're using it properly. And don't plug extension cords into each other to try to limit electrical hazards.
Finding things that can hang on doors or sconces is a great alternative to something that might need to be plugged in and light up.
Toys and games are big sources of trouble too, especially if they have little pieces. In the latest report by the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, in 2023, there were over 154,000 emergency-treated injuries associated with toys for children 12 and under. There were also 10 deaths attributed to choking, drownings, and entrapment in things like a toy chest. Among all injuries, non-motorized scooters accounted for the largest share of injuries across all ages. Preparing food for holiday gatherings is a big focus of the season, but when it gets cold, make sure you don't use any of the cooking elements for heat. If you're hosting for the holidays, anything hot on the stove needs extra attention, especially if there are children or pets around.
We want to make sure that we keep pot handles turned in so that any visitors or kids that are over don't unintentionally hit those and knock something over.
For more tips about avoiding holiday injuries, check out this story on KENS5.com. In the studio, Jeremy Baker, KENS 5.
Some really good tips there. The weekly wrap is back after this.
Go ahead. Take a look at the faces of San Antonio Zone. When you look into their eyes, you see passion. You see hard work. You see familia. Generations of people who embody a rich culture of respect, honor, and originality. We're all in San Antonio, but more importantly, San Antonio is in us. It's what makes us special. It's why we're proud to be San Antonio's own.
A broken vehicle fixed after 5 months of no help.
KENS 5 made it 100% better.
A busted windshield fixed after getting the runaround from a contractor.
And you guys did it. Y'all were amazing.
A much-needed tax refund this man couldn't access, fixed.
KENS 5 actually helped me out quite a lot, actually.
Have a consumer problem you can't solve? Call KENS, weekdays at 6 on KENS 5.
Got a problem, call KENS. They will solve the problem.
My name is Sue Kalberg, and I am a journalist for KENS 5 for 22 years. I think it's been an awesome privilege to be able to work in the town that I grew up in. My uncle, Rex Stanley, was the very, 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 very first guy hired at KENS 5. From the beginning, I said, you can get paid for that? Let me in. It fills my heart to be a part of the KENS family, because the KENS family is the San Antonio family.
I am San Antonio's own Sue Kalberg.
We want to get you breaking news right now.
Here, let me show you the police activity. New insight into a deadly police shooting.
We just got an update from fire officials. We'll continue to keep you updated.
Stream extended coverage, live or on demand, right here on KENS 5+.
Welcome back to the Weekly Wrap. At number 2 in our countdown this week, a new Texas law will change which restrooms people can use in buildings. Senate Bill 8 requires people to use multi-state stall restrooms and locker rooms based on their sex assigned at birth. The new law will go into effect at government-run spaces like public schools, universities, city and county buildings, and some state-funded shelters. The law does not make it a crime for anyone to use a different bathroom. Instead, it fines the institution up to $125,000 per day for repeat violations. There are exceptions for children and caregivers. Also taking effect, House Bill 7, which allows Texans to file civil lawsuits against people or companies who manufacture or distribute abortion pills that end up in the state, even if those providers are outside of Texas. The person taking the medication cannot be sued under the law. And schools will start preparing for House Bill 8, an overhaul of statewide testing. The STAR exam will be replaced with 3 shorter assessments spread across the year. All 3 new laws are now in effect across the state. And a senior citizen on the west side had signed a contract for a new water heater. But when she later read the terms of the contract, she realized she couldn't afford it. That's when she called KENS 5. Andrew Moore tells us what happened next.
Ilda Alonso signed the contract for that water heater back in 2023, but she later found out the contract was for more than she expected and more than she was able to pay. But after KENS 5 contacted the company behind that contract, they decided to help her out.
I needed a new water heater, and they gave me the price.
Ilda Alonso got this invoice from Aramandia Plumbing 2 years ago. It was just over $4,000. She couldn't pay the full amount at the time, but the company offered her another option.
A contract where I can pay $61, $69 a month for 10 years.
Alonso didn't do that math in her head, but she did sign the contract on an electronic tablet.
They gave me a tablet to be signing and signing and signing.
She said she didn't get a paper copy right away, but later, after a billing issue, she eventually did get that copy, and she found out she was paying to lease the water heater with a built-in maintenance plan, and the total cost was more than $7,000.
And I was like, whoa, that's pretty steep for a water heater. I decided to call Channel 5 for help.
So KENS 5 reached out to Aramandia Plumbing to help explain the situation and help both parties communicate. Aramandia didn't have any obligation to cancel the contract, but then, after learning about Alonso's situation and her health issues, a local manager decided to help her out. A few weeks later, they officially canceled that contract without any additional fees.
I can't describe the words that I'm very overwhelmed and very happy.
The senior says she's grateful the company helped her out, after all, and she's glad she called KENS 5.
You understood me and you went over and beyond. I'm very pleased. Thank you.
And again, Aramandia was not required to let her out of that contract, but they decided to make an exception in this case. If you are signing a contract for a home repair, feel free to demand that they provide the contract in writing so you can read everything first and never sign a contract that you don't understand. For Call KENS, Andrew Moore, KENS 5.
A good takeaway there. All right, stick with us. We'll be right back.
Go ahead. Take a look at the faces of San Antonio Zone. When you look into their eyes, you see passion, you see hard work, you see familia, generations of people who embody a rich culture of respect, honor, and originality. We're all in San Antonio, but more importantly, San Antonio is in us. It's what makes us special. It's why we're proud to be San Antonio's own.
Talked to this police officer, and she told me to call KENS 5.
Every week, KENS 5 is looking out for San Antonio's own.
The next day after you left, they sent a professional AC guy, and my AC's working now.
If you've been wronged by someone,
it was shocking. Clearly, something went wrong.
Or a business,
I couldn't believe it was happening.
Just call KENS. Weekdays at 6, only on KENS 5.
I got my vehicle back. I'm rolling again, so call KENS 5 to help you if you need help too.
Born and raised on the northwest side of San Antonio, Texas. Generations of my family have been from this part of Texas. I have Fiesta roots, I have Spurs roots, I have Texas Fighter roots. Played basketball at Clark. Basketball was a huge part of my life for 16 years. My comfort dish, a plate of chilaquiles with salsa verde. Well, I grew up watching KENS 5. I am who I am because of this beautiful city. I hope that they can find a sense of pride knowing that their creation is helping deliver them the most important news of the day. I'm Alicia Nieves, and I'm proud to be from this beautiful city.
If you want a meal that will make you say,
So good!
That is fantastic.
catch Neighborhood Eats, where we find the best local restaurants. Streaming now on KENS 5 Plus.
Welcome back. Right now we want to get to this week's Quick Hits. KENS 5's Meredith Haas has more on helping blind people see and something ripping through the galaxy.
Helping blind people see. Yes, it is a thing now. Apparently scientists have created this tiny little microscopic chip that can go in people's eyes, people who are blind, that helps them see again. It was developed at Stanford Medicine, and it basically restored reading ability to people with advanced macular degeneration. And there's one specific vitamin that some research has found is maybe anti-aging. Apparently it's vitamin D supplements. Some study found that they slow a certain cellular process that's linked to aging and disease. And looking more at our solar system, there's something ripping through the Milky Way, and scientists really don't know how to explain what it is. Apparently there's this huge wave spanning tens of thousands of light years just ripping through the galaxy. They don't really know where it's originating from, but it could come from an ancient collision. Thank you for watching this week's Quick Hits. I'm Meredith Haas.
All right, and at number 1 in our countdown, President Trump has pardoned Democratic Representative Henry Cuellar and his wife in a federal bribery and conspiracy case. President Trump says without presenting evidence, Cuellar and his wife Imelda were prosecuted because the congressman had been critical of President Biden's immigration policies. President Trump said in a social media post, Cuellar voted, quote, bravely spoke out against open borders. Trump accuses Biden of going after the congressman and his wife for simply speaking against the truth. Thanks for joining us here on this episode of a weekly wrap only on KENS 5 Plus. Be sure to join us next week for more top headlines. We'll see you then. Bye, guys.